The Last of Us is easily my favorite game of all time, and one of my closest friends over here on the internet space has never played The Last of Us until now, just a couple days before The Last of Us Part 2. So within doing that, there's a bunch of Last of Us content coming to this channel, of course, with the second game coming out. You're going to get a review. You're going to get a spoiler discussion. You're going to get an unboxing of the Ellie edition. But the biggest factor of this also is you are going to get the start off to this wonderful series because my friend, again, Ren Geekness, has never played The Last of Us. He just beat it for the first time. I have no idea what he thought is, but we are going to review this game for you guys. He's going to give his thoughts. We're going to dissect this game just a bit and really discuss this because, again, this game is 7 years old now. Has the hype caught up to him? Let's find out. But let's introduce our friend here, Mr. Ren Geekness. How are you doing, Ren?
I'm very good, my friend. Thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun. I reserved my thoughts from you, as you said. I reserved it from everyone who contacted me.
Which was awesome.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. Yeah. 7 years ago, this game came out, which doesn't feel like it was 7 years ago, but 7 years ago, this game came out, and we're finally getting the sequel. So I was thinking about this last night. I'm like, how am I going to pull this out of you? You know, how am I going to, in a sense, get this out of you? And of course, before we get any further, if you guys are new here and you do enjoy this new segment of first time stuff, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, comment down below, let me know your guys' thoughts. I do plan on doing this with a lot of video games, movies, and other type of geeky content like this. So if you guys do enjoy that content, hit that like and subscribe button, as well as go comment over on Ren Geekness' channel. We do a podcast together called Geeks of the Roundtable, which is a great time. So make sure to go subscribe over to him so you don't miss out on that content. So, Ren, this is how I decided I want to know.
All right.
Out of 10, what would be your score for this game?
Oh, out of 10.
Yes,
okay.
Out of 10.
So before I say what my score would be, let me just say I'm really a guy who plays games for the story.
Yeah.
Like I play fighting games. I play the WWE games and the Dragon Ball games. They don't have much story to them, but they're just fun because I already love those worlds outside of the video games.
Yeah.
But games like The Last of Us, things that are original to gaming, I play for story. So I would give this a 10. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes. Ren, I was so nervous last night. And that's weird that I'd be nervous about this, but you know, like as because you were really reserved every time we talked about the game.
I was.
Every time we talked about the game, you're like, I'm here. I'm like, okay, does he like it? Does he not? Because you can't tell over a messaging thing. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Not. So it lived up to the hype for you.
Yeah, it did. It was.
Are you excited for the second one now? Like, are you going to get the second one right away?
I'm trying to, but the only available edition of that game right now over here is the Ellie edition, and I don't have the finances to buy that one.
You know, it's funny. That's the edition you can't find out here.
You know, it's ironic. I mean, I can find it on Amazon, but I'm not in the UK right now, so I can't just buy stuff on Amazon.
Could you just do the digital?
I could, but you know me, I'm a physical guy.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way, man.
Especially because now I have the first one. I'm not gonna buy the second one digital.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, so Ren, let's talk about this game just a bit. Yeah. So give me your basic overall thoughts. Just like a top of the line thing, because like for me, like I've stated, this is my favorite game of all time. When this game first came out, I wasn't that excited for it because I was kind of over the zombie genre at this point. But it was coming out from Naughty Dog, who did Uncharted, which I think that's another series you haven't played, right?
No, I have not. No. I've played like the littlest bit of the first game. Okay. I was in some mission, but it was very nearly the beginning when I stopped.
So maybe that should be the next series we do.
maybe. It's either going to be that or Bloodborne, because the other day I was thinking, I want to play something else now, and I looked at my collector's edition of Bloodborne, and I was like, maybe.
I love Bloodborne. That'd be another fun one as well. But yeah, this is my favorite game of all time. I was just so shocked when this game came out. I remember Naughty Dog. Okay, let me see the reviews. And I remember the embargo for this was just a couple days before it was coming out, and I saw a 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I said, "Holy shit!" So then I took a bunch of my games that I wasn't playing, took them to GameStop, got a quarter for each one, and was able to buy the game because I didn't have a job yet. So I was able to buy the game, played it. And I played it in one sit through. I do not remember getting up and not stop playing it. Like I just wanted to beat the game. I was so sucked into it. and today it still holds up. It's the game that I've probably played the most besides Mass Effect 2 or besides any RPG in a sense. But like
Yeah.
when it comes to a story, this is the one that I've gone through the most. I've beaten it on every difficulty more than once.
Wow.
Grounded especially is incredibly hard, but I beat it. You don't get your listening mode. You don't get anything really. It's pretty much survive, survive, survive. You die in like one hit. It's a joke, but the difficulty was so worth it. And I'm planning on doing the same thing for part 2. So give me your base overall thoughts, and we'll start diving into, say, the gameplay, the story, all sorts of stuff like that.
Okay, so I do have to say this first. I had no idea what happens in this game. For 7 years, I've been spoiler free.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I knew it was like an epidemic world, and he's trying to save this girl. But that's literally what I just knew. It's these two characters. He's trying to save her. I don't know by which means. I don't know how. I don't know why. But I know it's. I was kind of wrong because I thought there were actual zombies in this world. They aren't actual zombies.
They're infected.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? The infection in here is actually something that's real in real life.
Yeah, just as
so it's really cool.
Humans.
Yeah.
Yet exactly 2020, you never know. So basically, I had no idea. I went in spoiler free. I like to, because I've talked with 2 of my personal friends about my feelings on the game so far, but literally I've only talked it with 2 people. I can break this down going through several moments. The first moment is when they're with Tommy and Maria and etc. And at one point, Ellie runs off with one of the horses and goes to this house. We eventually have to go find her. And when they find her, Joel and Ellie have this discussion, and they say, "Oh, you're not my dad." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not your dad, but you're not my daughter either." And they're trying to separate from each other. Joel is trying to separate himself from Ellie. That's the moment where the acting, the dialogue, the shot composition just felt like a real movie.
It feels like a movie. It literally, the whole movie is, or the game feels like a movie.
I snapped like back into reality, and they were already on the top of the horses ready for me to play. And I was like, oh shit, I have to play. And I kept thinking, okay, that got me. This is kind of special. Right now I'm realizing.
Is that the moment that you said, okay, I get it?
Not the I get it yet, but it was already going up, you know.
Okay.
At that point, I already liked the game. It was really cool to play, and the story was nice, and I was liking the characters. But at that moment, it was like, okay, this is special. This has something to it. The moment where I realized I love this game, and I realized I was loving these characters, and I had been in a harrowing journey with them, was when Ellie is killing David. And Joel finally gets to her after you have been playing with both of the characters for a while. He finally gets to her, he hugs her, and he calls her baby girl for the first time. That's the moment that got me.
They got you. So and that moment. So like there are, when it comes to The Last of Us, there are certain sequences, and of course this is full spoilers, just so everyone knows. I mean, we already spoiled it, but it's full spoilers.
It's 7 years.
It's 7 years. I'm pretty sure Ren is like one of the only people in the world who has never played The Last of Us. When it comes to this is a game that's cinematic. Like, you know what? Like, I was talking to some friends who just replayed the game, and they throw out that some things don't hold up, and they have good reasoning. Some of the puzzle mechanics are kind of crap. To nowadays 7 years standard. The whole getting the paddle, bringing it back, get Ellie on it, it gets repetitive. I understand that, but for me, the story is so investing, you don't even think about that.
That's what I was saying, because like gameplay, I don't really.
It's 7 years old. It's 7 years old.
But I don't review games because the gameplay doesn't affect me much. Like when I'm taking the paddle to her at that moment, if it doesn't work, I'm like, oh, come the fuck on. But then as soon as I'm done with it, it doesn't bother me anymore. I don't think about it anymore. That's why I don't review games, because I don't pay much attention to that. But at the same time, I don't think it's fair not to pay much attention to that when it comes to a game.
Well, and it's everyone gets something different from a game. I'm the same way with you. Story is like the biggest key to me. Gameplay all around there can, as long as it's not super frustrating.
Exactly. There's a level of badness that it can reach before it really bothers you.
Yeah. So like, but with this game, it's like that's my least complaint. Like your gun sways a lot, but once you upgrade it, you're fine. You know, like the upgrades, the crafting, it's all simple, but it doesn't need to be any more than that. And that's actually something I don't know anything about the part 2. I don't know. I know they've upgraded a lot of that stuff. I don't know what they've done to it. I hope it's kind of still simple. I more just care about the story.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
but
she
yeah,
better have learned how to swim at this point.
she does. She does. That came out. She knows how to swim. So talking about The Last of Us. So there are a couple key sequences that I want to go over with you.
Mhm.
Especially within the story, because these are the moments that I feel, because one of my favorite things about this game is how it cuts. How it just cuts, like the
Mhm.
editing. So one of the first ones is when Joel's daughter dies.
Yeah.
Which is actually the moment that went to me and said, okay, this is something different. This is not your typical, because leading up, didn't watch any of the marketing, didn't see anything. I thought that was who you play with the whole time. You know what I mean?
The daughter?
Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't see, like, when I really say this, I didn't know anything about this game going in. I was like, oh my god. So I thought so when the daughter died, I said, so who the fuck's this girl? Who is she? And for me, what was your reaction to that? Did you see her coming to die? Did you know that was going to happen?
I mean, I kind of saw it coming because I knew the game was with Joel and Ellie, and as soon as the daughter is the first person you play as in this game.
Yeah.
So when you start playing as her, I started to see where the story was going, like until the moment of her death. I saw, okay, this is going to be the catalyst that is going to make him all depressed, even though I didn't know he was depressed, but that's a really good part of the character in the game.
It's great, and it's the way he opens up.
Yeah.
Is, like, brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, so I kind of saw it coming. I didn't feel much, but I didn't think it was bad either, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah,
I
no, I
wasn't
get
like
that. I was just
against
curious. So
daughter
the
dying.
second one that brought it about was when you joined Sam and Henry. And when you messaged me and said that you were with him, I said, oh, he's fucking getting to that point. So this is the most brilliant cutting sequence. There's a couple before that, especially when Joel's like gives Ellie the rifle for the first time and says, this is how you use it. If I get in trouble, you need to kill him.
Yeah.
There's a couple sequence, or when she kills the guy for the first time when he's climbing up the ladder.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's subtle, the subtleness, and I think those small sequences are what make The Last of Us The Last of Us. I think those are the strongest things personally. So Sam and Henry, I still think this is the moment that every single time I watch it and every single time I play through this game, that's the moment that gets me. Is when is it Sam, the guy who kills himself? Or is it
No, that's Henry. Sam is the
okay?
young one.
So Sam gets bitten, turns, they kill him. Henry grabs the gun, points it at them, and just shoots. But the brilliance of this is the way it just cuts. Doesn't show the reaction, doesn't show, just cuts. What was your reaction to this?
Yeah, that's one of the best cuts for me as well in the game, because as soon as you see, like, when Ellie is talking with Sam, when the adults are in the other room, you're like, he's bitten. He's totally fucking bitten. Then he looks at it. It's his leg, right? It's his leg, if I'm not mistaken. So he looks at his leg and he's like, yeah, it's not gonna go well. But I did not expect like to be immediate, even though you know at that point that they established in the game that there's like 1 to 2 days before you turn. You knew that was not going to turn well. So it's one of the best cuts of the game, and it's one of those that you, and I'll mention something like this in a bit when we get further into the story, but it's one of those moments that you have no idea. I had no idea what I would do in their place.
Yeah, and I mean, it's tough, and that's the thing. I think the brilliance of it is because it is a risk. Cutting right there, not getting the reaction, not getting anything, and moving on with the story. That's the risk.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to go apart in this is, of course, when you get to that next moment in particular, with Joel and Ellie, they make it to the campus. They're going around. And before we get to that, I want to ask you, did you die at all from a clicker or from the big guy? I was wondering.
Yeah, quite a few times.
Okay,
not
so
as much. I died sure a handful of times, a single handful of times, maybe with a clicker. But I died, especially when you're almost to the hospital near the end, and there's a sequence where you're walking under a tunnel, and there's a few clickers, but there's 2 bloaters over there.
Yeah.
In the same spot. I died quite a few times over there because just fucking cunts.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you in that moment. Did you get any of the cool cuts of them dying? Like Joel getting his jaw ripped off and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So I love the brilliance of the way that they did all that too, because it cuts like normal before it gets too graphic. So I love that. So let's move on. Next part of that story is when Joel and Ellie are in the hospital. They find out the fireflies are not there, and Joel falls on the rebar. In that moment, I remember the first time I played it, I went, "Oh fuck, he's dead." Like, and I thought that was gonna be the end of the game. I legit
Mhm.
because I thought, okay, I'm like probably 12 hours in, 10 hours in at this point. That's the end of the game right there. You know what I mean? And then you end up playing as Ellie.
Yeah.
Reaction to this.
Okay, reaction to this. As I said, I had no exposure to this game, and logically, I stayed away from any marketing of the second one. But what I did stumble upon of the second one, everything is Ellie. It's all Ellie, Ellie, Ellie. The special edition is an Ellie statue. Ellie
Yep.
is alone on the cover of the game. So when that happened, when it falls on that, and number one, it fucking hurt me. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit.
Because you love
But
Joel so much at that
yeah,
point.
but second one, I genuinely thought he was going to die, and then you start playing as Ellie, and I was like, oh damn, he dies midway through this
That's
game.
how
That
I
that
thought.
takes balls. That takes balls.
Mhm.
So, but I was glad that they didn't actually kill him because
I
that
think it
girl.
made sense. I think it made
Yeah,
sense that he had
I mean,
trained Ellie enough at that
yeah,
point to.
he
Yeah.
trained Ellie enough for her to survive for a while, but this
Mhm.
girl wouldn't last long in this world, especially with what happens later.
I agree, dude. And I really, 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 really love that decision and everything and just how they made it work. And then of
Yeah,
course that gets to the David moment, which is just like when he's talking to her and how like a couple of their men died and just
yeah,
you start putting two and two together. You're like, and so is Ellie. And again, brilliant storytelling, which fun fact for people who don't know, the guy who plays David is Nolan North, the guy who
yeah.
voices Nathan Drake. A
I
lot of
was
people don't.
surprised because he
It sounds
modified his
completely
voice a
different.
lot. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like him at all.
Mhm. But that scene with David and Ellie, just her chomping again, that is again the moment that I get chills down my spine. Like the music, the score, which the score we haven't even talked about. Score is
Yeah,
brilliant. The
score
score
is
is
really
freaking
good.
brilliant. It's probably one of my favorite scores of all time. Like top 10, I think, for movies, games, TV, whatever you want to call it. So let's move a little bit further. As this whole happens, they get past this. They're finally getting to the hospital.
Salt
The,
Lake City.
yep. The giraffe scene. Reaction?
Uh, weird reaction. I'll tell you that right away.
Mhm.
Because when they're walking and they're going through in and out of this crumbled building, and at one point we're still not there, but Ellie starts saying, "Oh, look over there, how beautiful!" And I'm like, "What the fuck are you looking at?" I
Yeah.
stopped with my character. I turned the camera everywhere. I didn't see anything. Then I go out of the building where we're supposed to leave, and then the camera itself forcibly turns, and you see the giraffes. And I'm like, "Oh, giraffes! That's cool." But I was so frustrated previously because she was, "Oh, how beautiful! Look at that!" And then again,
So
"Look at that!" And I didn't see anything. So I was like, "What
that
the fuck
you
are you
can
looking at?"
see something, but it's like
Okay,
if you miss it, you miss it. I played the game so many times that I see you can see the
yeah,
shadows and stuff like
okay.
that. So it's really fun in that design. But yeah, I love that moment. I think that's one of the other subtle moments. And then, did you ever get any of the optional dialogue with them when it asked to hit triangle and you get to talk to them a little bit more?
Oh yeah, there's a moment. It's right
There's
before that
tons.
when he wants a ladder and
Yeah.
he asks her about something. There's two options. I At this point I can't even remember what I
Mhm.
picked.
There's so many of those options
Okay.
throughout the story, and it's always fun. Like this last time I went through, I'd gotten some that I never played and gotten. I've never gotten them all because they're really hard to find at times. So
Yeah.
it's really cool how much that adds to the story. So let's get to the big thing, the ending. They get there, they survive, everything like that. They get to the hospital, but it turns out Ellie has to die for mankind to
Yeah.
survive. And Joel does a very selfish thing, a very, very selfish thing, and kills everyone in the hospital. Or if you like me, sneaks past everyone in the hospital. So Ren, that thing going into the hospital, kills the surgeon, grabs Ellie, runs, ends up killing what's the girl's name?
Marlene.
Marlene, and gets in the car and drives off.
Mhm.
So before we get to that very last sequence,
Yeah.
reaction to the whole hospital type scene.
It's another moment that I should have spoken to you in the beginning when I talked about the killing David, the baby girl moment, and the running away moment. When I start seeing that scene, he wakes up in the hospital and Marlene is there and she talks about she's prepping for surgery. And he's like, surgery? Yeah, they got to remove part of her brain. And he's like, what? I was like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yeah.
She's not dying. No, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Like if that that was what would have happened, like without giving me a choice, and there was just a cutscene until the end of the movie, I'd be like, "Fuck this game,
Yeah.
seriously." That'd be my reaction overall.
But you'd like that you got to go through
Oh
and
yeah,
save
for
her.
sure. I'm
And
saying
again,
if
the
there was no
score,
choice there, yeah,
yeah, the score, everything about it, just totally going through perfect.
yeah.
Marlene dies again. So we get to the ending, and Ellie asks him,
Swear to me.
"Swear to me." And then the music's going up, the music's going up,
Yeah,
music's going up, and then and then he says, "I swear," and she just says, "Okay." Boom, ends. That's it, done.
yeah,
That's how it ends. And I'm getting chills right now, even like just because the music's so perfect as it's building up.
yeah.
And right then and there, that's where we're going. And many people don't love that ending, actually. Some don't like because before we didn't know if we were getting a sequel. The director had spoken out and saying, "I
Oh,
don't know if I'll ever make another Last of Us." He said if I were going to make another Last of Us, it would be vastly different than the first one, or it'd be with different characters. As of right now, that is not the case. Maybe the vastly different thing is playing as Ellie maybe is a different type of thing, but
yeah.
so it's interesting in that capability, Ren. So with that said, thoughts on that ending? What was your thoughts? And yeah, let's get into that.
Okay, so I got to talk a little bit about writing for storytelling, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
for a second, because
yeah.
there are endings that I don't like. Period. There are endings that I love. Period. There are certain things that she writes sometimes in a story that goes against character, and that's the problem. Like, I don't know. Let's say Iron Man didn't snap at the end of Endgame. I would have really loved to see Tony Stark live. Like, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. See an ending when everyone is alive. But at the same time, it's against character. So I would have had a problem with that as well. This ending, I really don't like that Joel lied to her. But at the same time, not only do I think it's a great ending for this story, I also think it goes perfectly well with his character, with the journey
Yep.
that he has been through, with how he has grown throughout this journey. I think it's a good thing that I don't like it, because I'm also not sure
That's how
what
I
I would
feel.
do in this place. I'm like, Joel shouldn't have done that, buddy. But at the same time,
Because it's
it's
gonna
him.
bite him in the ass too.
Oh yeah,
Like
that's gonna be the catalyst for the second
that's
one,
the
for
thing.
sure.
So like I have been spoiled about The Last of Us 2 and it sucks. There's two things that I know that happen in that game that obviously I'm not gonna talk about here. But those two things that happen in that game, from what I understand, I talked to someone who has played the game and said that yes, those are gigantic spoilers,
Yeah.
but they're still shocking when they happen, and there's still more shocking things that happen in the game. So it makes me a little bit excited. I don't know if this comes into play at all, and I love
It's
that.
gotta come.
And
It's
that's how
gotta
I
be the
feel.
catalyst, you know?
But
It's
I'm gonna
gotta
be
be like
honest.
the thing that launches the story.
But I'm gonna be honest. Even if it doesn't come into a major play, like the way that I'm assuming it should, I'm okay with that because I think it's been right now 5 years. I think it's 5 years since the first game. So he's lived on this life for quite a bit, So it's gonna be interesting. But Ren, I'm so happy that you love this game. I am so happy you love this game. Storytelling wise, it's great. Give me. Are you excited for the second one now? Are you really
I am.
excited to play as
Yeah,
Ellie
I really
and
am.
continue the story?
Yeah, because you know what? I didn't even mention this, but I hate and I suck at shooters. Third person, first person doesn't fucking matter. I suck at shooters and I hate them. So it's really intriguing that I still enjoyed playing this game despite having to shoot and to point the gun to try
Yeah.
and hit somebody in the head, which I was surprisingly better than I expected. Not good, but better than I expected. So I'm really excited to play with Ellie, especially because I found the bow and arrow to be easier to play with.
Oh, really? You know what's funny? I hate the bow and arrow in this game.
I hate that you have to like stretch it out and you see the
Yeah.
thing where you hit going up and it goes too fast sometimes.
Mhm.
But I found myself hitting more people where I wanted to hit them with a bow and arrow than with a
More
sniper.
accurate thing without all the upgrades. I will say that because like I have everything upgraded, so like every time I play through now, it's like boom, 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 boom.
So if you start if I start replaying again in another difficulty, do I still have the upgrades that I had at the end of my first playthrough?
So I don't. So from what I get,
Yeah.
what difficulty did you start on?
Normal. I'm a normal
So
guy.
if you go to normal and play normal again, or if you play easy, you'll have all your upgrades.
Okay.
But if you go to hard, you don't. You
Yeah,
restart.
I
Which
expected that.
So like what since I did grounded, this last playthrough, I did grounded again. I had all my upgrades, but like from what I understand, if I did like hard or normal and something, I would have still had all my upgrades.
Okay.
So it makes the game a little bit easier. But 10 out of 10 from you, a 10 out of 10 from me.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this. We'll probably have to do the second game too. I don't know when you're gonna get the second game.
I'm game. I mean, probably on Friday. I'll try. If I have to get the early edition, maybe I will. I don't know.
Because we can do another installment of this right away. Just discuss it. It's gonna be a fun one at that though. Thank you so much again for joining me, man. Let everyone know where they can find you at.
You guys can find me anywhere at Ren Geekness, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I just uploaded a new series on my channel. I just started doing anime reviews once a month, and pretty soon I'll start reviewing the filmography of a certain director that's bringing his latest movie into theaters next month.
Oh, I know who that is. Well, thank you again so much for joining me, man. This was a blast to talk about with The Last of Us. I'm so happy you love this game. I'm so happy. Like, I'm literally overjoyed that you love this game. And I'm sure, I hope a lot of you guys enjoyed this video as well. Make sure to comment down below your guys' thoughts on The Last of Us. What are your guys' thoughts? Have you guys ever played it? Have you not? Do be wary of comment section because people suck and they will spoil The Last of Us 2. So if you're planning on playing that, probably don't read all the comments. Just kind of comment real fast and jump out. I will try to delete those comments if anyone tries to be a dick. If other than that, though, thank you guys again so much for hitting that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. And thank you so much, Ren, for joining us. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.